This woman is 65 years old, but she doesn't look that old. She looks only 30. Her secret? A special dumpling recipe with a horrifying twist. It contains human baby meat. But where does she get this meat, and how did it all begin? To uncover the truth, let's dive into the detailed explanation of the movie. At the start of the film, we meet May, a beautiful 65-year-old woman who brings several food boxes home. She throws all of them into the trash, except for one, from which she takes out meat and begins eating. This was the secret to her youthful appearance. Despite being 65, she looked like she was only 30. Her secret lay in her unique dumpling recipe, which made her famous throughout the city. However, no one knew what exactly was in these dumplings that kept her so young. On the other side of the story, we see a couple, Nina and Mr. Mark. Nina was once a movie star, but she left the film industry years ago to marry Mark, a billionaire businessman. Over time, as Nina's youth began to fade, her husband started paying less attention to her. Desperate to reclaim her youth and her husband's affection, Nina finds May and visits her apartment. May assures Nina that she can restore her youth, but she must eat May's secret dumpling recipe daily for it to work. Eager to regain her youth and save her marriage, Nina agrees. May begins preparing the secret recipe, and we see her adding a special type of meat to the dumplings. Within minutes, the dumplings are ready, and May serves them to Nina. Although Nina finds the dumplings unpleasant, she eats them, willing to endure anything to regain her youth. Meanwhile, Nina notices that her husband has been spending a lot of time away from home. One day, she follows him to a hotel room, where she discovers that he has been spending time with another woman, a young girl who is soon to become the mother of his child. Nina began visiting May's house daily to eat the dumplings, and gradually, she started looking younger and more beautiful. However, Nina wanted quick results. She wished to regain her beauty as soon as possible. One day, after Nina left, a distressed woman named Shun arrived at May's home with her 15-year-old daughter, Jane. Shun revealed that Jane had been assaulted and was now 5 months pregnant. She begged May to deliver her daughter's baby. At this point, we learned that May was once a gynecologist. May examined Jane and informed Shun that Jane was 6 months pregnant, and delivering the baby at this stage would be highly risky. She suggested a hospital where they could safely perform the procedure. We then see May collaborating with the hospital staff to bring deceased babies to her home. These babies' meat was the secret ingredient in her dumplings, which kept her youthful and beautiful. Meanwhile, Mark had completely lost interest in his wife. Frustrated, Nina invited May to her apartment and explained her situation. May decided to help Nina by preparing a faster-acting recipe to restore her youth. Shortly after returning home, May was interrupted by Shun, who brought Jane to May's flat due to severe complications. Despite the risks, May delivered Jane's baby, intending to use the meat for Nina's special dumplings. During the process, Jane suffered heavy bleeding, but May was indifferent. After delivering the baby, she sent Shun and Jane away and began preparing her dumplings using the baby's meat. Not long after, Nina arrived at May's apartment to eat the dumplings. As May was still preparing the recipe in the kitchen, Nina walked in and was horrified to see May cutting up the baby's flesh for the dumplings. Terrified, she fled from the apartment. However, after some distance, she stopped and reconsidered. Realizing she had no other option to regain her youth, she returned to May's apartment. This time, she eagerly ate the dumplings, savoring each bite. Soon after, Nina appeared younger and more radiant than ever, and Mark began paying attention to her again. Feeling ecstatic, Nina threw a party at her home, inviting her family and friends. Everyone admired her beauty, but soon they noticed a foul, decaying smell emanating from her. Nina herself became aware of the odor, which was a side effect of consuming human flesh. She rushed to the bathroom to bathe, but the stench wouldn't go away. Furious, she called May and berated her for not warning about the dumpling's side effects. May calmly reassured Nina that the smell would fade on its own in a few days. Unbeknownst to them, Mark overheard their conversation using another phone. In the next scene, Mark visits May's apartment, where he is instantly captivated by her beauty. May offers him the dumplings, and despite knowing they contain human meat, Mark eats them with relish. The two grow close quickly, fulfilling May's long-standing desire to ensnare a wealthy man with her allure. On the other side, Jane's health deteriorated due to complications from the delivery, and she tragically passed away. Shun, overwhelmed with grief and rage over her daughter's death, murdered the man who had assaulted Jane. The police launched an investigation and arrested Shun. They soon began closing in on May as well. However, May learned of Jane's death and fled before the authorities could catch her. Meanwhile, Nina hadn't heard from May for days and was growing desperate. Her body had developed an addiction to the dumplings, and without them, she started experiencing strange withdrawal symptoms. Desperate to satisfy her craving for the human meat dumplings, Nina devised a plan. She approached her husband's hotel mistress, who was 6 months pregnant, and offered her a large sum of money in exchange for delivering the baby early. Nina knew that such a procedure would likely result in the mistress's death and provide her with the baby's flesh to make dumplings. Her plan unfolded exactly as she had anticipated. During the delivery, the mistress died, and Nina took the baby's body home to prepare the dumplings herself. The film ends with Nina making and consuming the dumplings, fully embracing the dark and horrifying path she had chosen.